Hello again, guys, and welcome to the Madroid Podcast, where we deliver short podcasts filled with marketing and sales insights that can help you level up your business. For those who aren't in marketing all day, every day, here's what you'll get: actionable marketing and business nuggets that take the mystery out of marketing to help you achieve growth that will be sure to help you level up. Winston, we had an article that we wrote, published in the Michigan State Bar Journal, where we cover cost-effective client acquisition strategies. We're here to talk about kind of part two in that series of articles that we wrote. And today we're going to dive in a little bit more into those strategies. So can you kick us off?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part of the article series and continuing from the podcast we did for the part one of it, where we talked about reducing the cost of client acquisition and creating a sustainable marketing plan, utilizing the budget more effectively to acquire clients. We talked about SEO and lowering our ad spend dollars, right? Because that's often the go-to in the law industry, lowering that and doing more organically. And then talked about podcasting for the commercial side, the B2B firms, right? That was part one. I'm excited to jump into part two.
Yeah, I feel like we're good to go ahead and just jump right into this. So our first piece with this is how we are looking to take leads and turn them into clients ultimately. So how do we take those initial prospects that we're making, like that very first touch point with, and bring them in to become that client that's falling right into the space that you work in? So with the different strategies that we had talked about and the different marketing tactics that we had talked about in part one, I think it's how we implement those and then how we ultimately determine, okay, the leads that are coming in from those, what is the rate in which they're becoming clients? And then what process do we need to take on to improve that efficiency? Or what are some different tactics that we might need to try or leverage to make sure that they're the right kind of client for us? And I think that kind of leads us into the second piece being the sales funnel.
Absolutely. Leads to clients. That's the tough part, right? That's the whole point of all of this, what we're doing. We've done a hard part, which is getting them into the funnel, into our sales pipeline, but actually converting them
Yes.
and doing it so in a sustainable way. That is why we're here. So creating that sales funnel and pipeline that's always working for you is really important. Improving the touch points that you have between prospect clients and referral partners, and having something in place to where you don't have to think about that 24/7, but you have a system, hopefully some automation in there to do this for you.
Yeah, I think that's a huge component of it. And for those that are in the space where automation is something that you thought could be a good idea, or it's something that is like on a wish list that you have, it would streamline your capabilities. I think more achievable than some may think. And I think the steps that you put in place may take some work to implement at the outset. But once they're in place, there is now a defined true process, and you're really going to start seeing the dividends of that once that process is fully in place and implemented over a stretch of time. And from there, you're able to identify the gaps and you're able to show, okay, this is where we can improve by incorporating this automation. This is where we can improve by incorporating this process into it to truly make sure that it's working the way that you want it to, but also representing your company, your brand in the way that you want it to, with the quality that matches the work that you put out.
To go off that, like that whole experience someone has while they're in your sales funnel in the pipeline, that's building a relationship or maintaining or developing one, right? It's a garden. So planting that seed, watering it, nurturing it is really important. And it looks different depending on the type of firm you have, right? And like the services you provide. If it's the consumer side of things, it's probably going to be a shorter pipeline for some things, right? Because there's more urgency. Whereas building referral partners and commercial clients, that pipeline could be short, but it could be quite a long pipeline. So it'd be really hard to think, I need to email this person for every month for 2 years before they become a client. Yeah. Having a system in place that, hey, check out this article we wrote or this podcast that directly correlates with your business, right? Or a future problem that you might have or you might be working through right now. We have a resource for you, a value add. And having that in place to where you can send that scale, right? Select 50% of your pipeline and send them something, or have an automation in place to send them that resource and do that consistently. Like over time, you are really nurturing them with the ultimate goal of turning them into a client or a referral partner and seeing that come to fruition, right? That's the beauty of it. It almost gives me goosebumps thinking about like how well that can be orchestrated and bring clients in.
Yeah. And I think the nurturing piece that you touched on right there is the key component, right? I think that is ultimately where you're investing in a relationship instead of investing in a quick turn paid ad that you're hoping is just going to bring in that lead tomorrow. We know from experience in these industries where if you set yourself up and position yourself in a place to be a trusted advisor and to be basically acting as their counsel to work in their best interest and ultimately provide the service that they need when they need it, they're going to come to you right away because they've been working with you very passively for 6 months, a year, 2 years. So now when that need arises, you're their go to person. So
Absolutely.
that's where that can really pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
So to summarize it all up, basically the goal here is B2B, B2C. How are we taking folks from leads and making them into clients? We know that we can do that by creating a sales funnel and a pipeline that is always working for us and that has multiple steps that are pertinent to our audience and to those leads that are coming in. And from there, we get the opportunity to improve our prospect and referral source touch points and make sure, again, that those are matched up with who those leads are. And then from there, we're able to identify those gaps in automation in your funnel to make sure that is running efficiently and representing your brand and your business the way that you would want your work to be reflected. With that, to access the full article and more in-depth information, you can find the link in the show notes. And friends, that is our episode for today. So please make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you have any questions that you want us to talk about on the podcast or want to get in touch with us, please visit madritmarketing.com/podcast. Have a great day, guys.